Welcome, all gamers, to the Grind Game Podcast, a deep dive into the gaming experience. You're listening to Dean and Anthony. I was thinking about gamers are so prevalent now. We're, at least in America, 50% of the population plays video games. And it seemed to be so much smaller back when we were in school so many years ago. So I was wondering what games that maybe you personally were bullied or made fun of over.
I remember you saying that's what the topic was like a week ago, and I've been trying to think the whole time and remember an instance, and I'm gonna let you go first because I'm still thinking.
Okay. I was never bullied as a kid. I was the tallest kid in class, and everyone knew I did martial arts. So no one really bullied me in middle school or high school or elementary. But I know there were some games that I played that weren't sort of in the norm, like the way a lot of people think about certain games. Look at Fortnite. Fortnite is an extremely popular game, but a lot of people have a negative disposition towards it. Say, oh, they're a bunch of 12-year-olds playing Fortnite. Well, that was the same thing with Halo, really. When we were playing Halo, we're like, oh yeah, there's a whole bunch of just 12-year-olds screaming into their mics on Halo. But there were some niche games that I think weren't viewed as necessarily games, Back in my small city, the whole Japanese scene wasn't really a thing yet. You had your people who liked animated stuff, but it wasn't seen as a mainstream thing. So people who played Japanese RPGs other than Pokemon or Kingdom Hearts were kind of separated from all the other gamers that played things like Halo and Call of Duty. And I'm wondering if that rift still exists today and on what scale.
That's pretty interesting that you said that about Halo because I don't even remember that. I guess because I'm looking back now, I remember Halo as being just a fun time with the boys, just sit around and play Halo. And it seemed like everybody did that.
Oh yeah.
But maybe it did have that connotation and I just don't remember it.
I think it was a part of a connection between the whole Xbox Live culture and Halo was just a popular game. So you would get those two mixed up with each other, and therefore a lot of times you think, oh, playing Halo against some 12-year-old kid, even though tons of people played Halo.
One of the things that I was thinking of whenever you were talking about that was the divide between Sony and Microsoft fans.
Oh yeah.
Well, I remember specifically from the Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3 era, it was like, oh, if you have an Xbox 360, you're a little kid. Only big boys play PlayStation 3 or whatever.
Yeah. What did you have, Anthony?
I had both, Dean.
So you're a man child.
I had an Xbox 360 for the longest time and then eventually got a PlayStation 3. So yeah, I had an Xbox 360 first, so I was a little baby.
Two interesting things about that. One, you say you have an Xbox 360 for a long time, which in itself is absolutely miraculous. I had my 360 for years before it finally shut down. When I was working at Game Crazy I think I only worked there for a year, every single Xbox 360 I sold died. And I don't know how many gamers remember this. I mean, our younger people might not realize this, but the 360 had like a 70% fail rate that they would just overheat and red ring of death.
Yeah.
The other thing is, yeah, I also had a 360 and I played the shit out of it. And then I bought a PS3 later.
Yeah, so I actually didn't know is that a hard number, the 70% failure rate?
I thought it was. I could be mistaken, but I thought the 70% up until they came out with the Xbox S or whatever, the black one.
The Elite?
The Elite, that was it. I thought the number was like 70%. I could be wrong. I'm gonna look it up right now.
That sounds about right. My Xbox 360 experience was my friend had one and he would always bring it over and then he'd let me borrow it several times and I played like Assassin's Creed and stuff. But I was so broke during that time as pretty sure I was still in high school. And I remember going halvesies with one of my other friends who also wanted an Xbox 360 and we bought it from just a guy that we knew from work after school, and he gave us a whole bunch of games with it. I mean, it was a pretty good deal, but it was very used, and we would take turns. One week he would have it, and the next week I would have it, and then that went on for quite a while. And then I said, you know what, I'm just gonna pay you your half, and I'm just gonna keep it because I'm tired of giving it back to you because I want to play it.
Yeah.
So I paid him his half, and that weekend
Oh no.
that weekend, it got the red ring and died.
Dude, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, and that was the first of many Xbox 360s that I had crap out on me. And actually, interestingly enough, now that I think about it, I've never gone through as many consoles as I have an Xbox 360. I think I had maybe two PS3s. I think I might be on my third one or maybe just my second one. And I think I've been through maybe 7 or 8 Xbox 360s.
Jeez. That is depressing, really.
Yeah, it really is. And all of my other consoles, I think, are the original ones I had, unless I upgraded them in some way. I know I don't have my first PS4 that I bought. I bought a limited edition Destiny 2 one or something like that. It's a white one. And I remember getting rid of my first gen black one that I had, but there wasn't anything wrong with it.
I found the rate here. The failure rate is what I'm seeing repeatedly. I don't know if it's still accurate though. Failure rate of 54.2%.
Wow.
That's like playing Russian roulette with a double barrel shotgun and loading one side. That's not a good rate.
Wow, that sounds right though.
That's sad. That is really sad.
The plus side is I have a lot of Xbox 360 spare parts because I took all of them apart.
Yeah, I mean, what else are you gonna do with them, really?
Yeah, I probably have enough working parts to put 0 Xbox 360s together right now.
That's how 360s roll.
Yep.
Which is a shame because it was a good system otherwise.
Yeah, I really liked it a lot. I like how this turned into an Xbox 360 bashing podcast.
Yep.
To circumvent all that, the beloved Xbox 360, I think I have in my game collection, I probably have more Xbox 360 games than any other console because that was whenever I started collecting hardcore was during that time. So
Same. Yeah.
I'm going to leave it alone now. I'm going to go back to your question,
Okay.
your original question. There's one game that comes to mind. I wasn't bullied because of it, because nobody knew that I played it. And
I see.
I wasn't sure at the time if anybody was going to, like make fun of me for playing it. And it just seemed like it would be. It was just like a really nerdy thing.
I almost want to guess it now because you've hyped it up so much. Like I'm trying to conceive what this game could be
Okay.
that you were playing. But go ahead, keep going.
Okay, yeah, I'll let you guess, but I'll just tell you the beginning here. So it was during high school, and now it's like not even a thing, but at the time I thought, oh man, this is super nerdy. Like there's playing Call of Duty or Halo after school with the guys, and then there's playing Final Fantasy or something, and then there's this.
Oh my. Okay. Is it text based?
No. Okay,
Okay.
so then there's that. That's extra nerdy. No,
Oh, okay.
it's less nerdy than that.
All of our followers make fun of Anthony for playing text-based games. No, text-based games are fine. Okay, can you at least like narrow it down with a console or something, or some sort of gameplay element of it?
Right. I played it on my laptop.
I guess that doesn't really narrow it down. Oh God. Oh, okay. Was it Neopets?
No.
Okay. Tibia.
I don't even know what that is.
Okay, just go ahead, and I'm never gonna guess it.
It was World of Warcraft.
RuneScape.
Oh,
Oh, what the World of Warcraft.
yeah.
It's the most popular game for the past 15 years.
Right, but at first, it seemed like it was a really nerdy thing to do.
I suppose, yeah, I suppose you're right.
See, and that's what I was saying. Nowadays, it's like, yeah, play some WoW, play some WoW with my buds. But back then, it was like the equivalent of like playing D&D in the 70s or whatever. Only the hardcore nerds did it. And now it's all the rage to play D&D. By the way, super cool thing to do.
Yeah, totally. Thanks Critical Role
Yeah, thanks.
for helping with that.
So there was just a quick little story. There was a guy at school that I had in one of my classes who was a huge nerd, and I sat next to him, and he started talking about it one day. And he started talking about this new game that he had been playing, and it's called World of Warcraft. And
Sounds nerdy.
I know I've heard of that, but I don't know much about it. Tell me about it. Now, he made it sound different. It is literally a whole world. He was really invested in this game. Anyway, I got it and played it, and I was like, "Wow, this is really good." Not quite what he was saying, but it's still really good, and it is pretty nerdy, and I'm not gonna let anybody know that I play this. But
So when did you come out?
so I had been playing it for like maybe 8 months or something at that point. Then I met a woman and we dated for a couple of months. And then I was like, "So you want to play some Xbox 360 games?" And she was like, no, I don't really play any console games." And I was like, "Oh, what do you play?" And she was like, It's kind of nerdy, but I play RuneScape." And I was like, "Ha, nerd." No, I'm just kidding. I was like, "Oh, is that I think I know what that is." She's like, "What do you play?" And I was like, "Well, I've been, just kind of playing some World of Warcraft." She was like, "Oh my god, I've always wanted to play that game." And I was like, "Oh." So, and then I married her.
That is a truly romantic story.
Yeah, it really is.
That's awesome. So that was 10 years ago, and now it's a normal thing. Like celebrities play World of Warcraft. I just found out a week ago that a family friend who is probably in his 60s plays World of Warcraft, and I would never have thought that he would be into such a game.
Oh, yeah. There's been guys that I've played with on WoW that they're older guys, and whenever you message them, you gotta wait like 3 or 4 minutes for them to type their message back to send to you because 'cause they're really slow at typing, and they're, like, 60 years old playing the game.
That's awesome. I love that. That's so cool.
My game that I thought was gonna be a weird nerd game ended up being really good.
That is a happy story. I mine yeah, that didn't happen. I guess Halo, like, I didn't realize Halo was gonna blow up the way it did when I first bought it, or, had my dad next to me while I bought it because it was rated M for mature.
Was it?
Yeah, I tried to buy it at Walmart, and they're like, do you have a parent?" I'm like, "Why is it rated T for teen?" And they're like, "No, it's rated M." So I had to go with my dad.
Man, that's another weird thing. I could have swore that it was rated T for teen.
No, no, rated M.
That just shows how desensitized I am to things in games now.
But other than that, like, all the other games that I play, I don't necessarily get made fun of for them, but they're, like, really niche games that I can't really talk to anyone about, or that I know anyone in my own personal life that has also played the game. I don't know another person in my life that has played Shenmue.
Yeah, I didn't even know what that was until I watched your super cool YouTube video of you doing Shenmue fighting stuff.
Yeah, yeah. Did it make you wanna play the game?
Um,
I'll take that as a no. It takes you have to have a really specific mindset to play a game like that because it is very slow paced and very awkward compared to other games. But it was the most expensive game made in its time until Grand Theft Auto came out.
oh, wow. I actually don't know anything about that game, so I can't say that I don't wanna play it because I don't know. I remember thinking, "Man, Dean needs to make more videos like this because this is totally rad."
Maybe someday.
But I will go look at it now.
It is the predecessor of Yakuza.
Oh.
It's not as ridiculous as Yakuza is. It's a lot more serious, but yeah, like everyone in the game has their own schedule. Like every person is a living person in this world. It was so expensive and it didn't do too well, but I'm glad that it finally came back, and I hope only success for it so we can end the story.
So are you saying there's another one coming out?
So Shenmue 1 and 2 came out around 2001, like between 1999 and like 2001, something like that. And 2000, the Shenmue 2 never made it to America. It made it to Europe, but not America, and it was originally on the Dreamcast. So Microsoft actually had a rendition of Shenmue 2 on the Xbox console, and then the story ends on this massive cliffhanger, and it didn't do well enough that you didn't hear anything about it for years. And people always wanted to have a sequel to to finish the story. And then E3 2015, 15 years later, they announced that here's the Kickstarter. It was funded overnight, like almost instantly, and they came out with Shenmue 3.
Did you contribute?
I didn't. I was poorer than I am right now back then, so I wasn't able to contribute.
Damn. Well, I never get to contribute to anything like that. One of the last games that was coming out that had a Kickstarter that I really, really, really wanted to put some money down on was Ukulele.
Oh, the little, uh, chameleon type thing, or
Yeah, the Chameleon and the Bat. It's like a lot of the guys from Rare, back whenever they made Banjo-Kazooie, made Platonic Games. Let me look that up, make sure I'm right. Hang on. Yes, it was Platonic Games. My bad.
did you end up playing ukulele?
Yes, so I ended up pre-ordering it and buying it anyway, and it was really good. It was very Banjo-Kazooie-esque, which is exactly what I wanted.
I haven't played a platformer in so long. I'm waiting for that Sonic Adventure 3, baby.
Oh yeah.
I was gonna segue with something, and now I'm trying to remember what it was. Oh, I remember now. So I have two things actually. I don't know which one to go with first. Since we were talking about Shenmue, I guess I'll go with this one first. Has there ever been a series of games, or maybe even just one, that was supposed to be like a saga or a trilogy or a complete story, but never did well enough to warrant sequels?
Shenmue.
Okay. Well, how about this then? Is there a game that you want more of? Do you want a sequel of that, even though it ended completely, that you want just more of?
Yeah, there are a lot, but I'll pick one. I really want more Dead Space.
Yeah, yeah.
One of my favorite series of all time, and every time I bring that up, everybody's like, "Oh, Visceral Gaming or what? They're the company. They're no more." And I'm like, "Yeah, I know that, but there could still be more."
I mean, yeah, why not? They did it with Halo. Halo ended.
I would just like more of the story. You know what? That actually reminds me of the blog that I posted this last Friday.
Oh, does it?
It does. Boom, bam, 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 fanfare. I talk about the Mass Effect series and how Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3 were really good. I like them. And then Andromeda came out, and I was like, ooh, more Mass Effect stuff, right? I know it doesn't have the whole crew, the whole Mass Effect crew in there that we know and love, but it's just a new story, new everything. And I was like, cool, I like it, but I didn't get to play it. And I explain in my blog, go read the blog.
Go read it. Read it now or after the podcast. If you're listening to this while you're driving, especially wait until you're done driving and then read it.
So, what was your question? I don't think I answered it.
About games you wanted more of.
Dead Space.
Dead Space. I like that answer. I like that. I've never played Dead Space, but I've only heard good things about at least the first two.
Yeah, they're really good. And I'll add on real quick. This just popped into my mind. Another game that I really want. There's only one of. as far as I know, because if there is another one, I really want to play it, or like a sequel or something. It's on the GameCube. Or I played it on GameCube anyway. I'm not sure if it came out on any other consoles. And it was called Metal Arms.
Oh, I that sounds really familiar.
Super, super good game. I really, really like that game.
Metal Arms, it's on PlayStation 2, GameCube, Xbox 360, and Xbox. Yeah, I do remember seeing this. Don't you, like, take people's arms or something?
I don't remember that.
Or am I maybe I might be thinking of a totally different game.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a long time since I've played it, but I don't remember that. I would love to see a reboot of that game on like today's consoles. It'd be a lot of fun.
Why not, man? They're rebooting everything.
Yeah, do you have the info up on that one? Who made that one?
That is Vivendi Games and Sierra Entertainment, which they published it. I don't believe I don't know if those are still in business. Developers Swingin' Ape Studios and Mass Media Games.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, I've never heard of them.
Haven't heard much from them since Metal Arms, I guess. So anyway, yeah, let's continue. I just wanted to throw in the shout out to Metal Arms there.
Yeah, get some Metal Arms love.
Oh, okay. Never mind. I'm gonna keep going if we don't stop. Never mind.
No, go for it, man. That's what the podcast is for.
Okay. Since I said shout out like to these old games, so there's another game that I wish there was a trilogy of because there's only two of, and that's Champions of Norath.
Yes. Yes. Why, like, Sony, do you want money? Just release a third one and then bunch the other 2 with it or something. Like, remaster the first 2. You literally have to change nothing, just update it to, like, 4K, and then come out with a Champions of Norath 3 with, like, better graphics and new gameplay.
Hell yeah. Champions of Norath is like a pinnacle in my gaming history. It's such an important time playing that with my sister on PlayStation 2. After we played that game, we knew what kind of games we liked.
Yeah, 100%. It looks like was developed by Snowblind Studios.
Did you know that I think Champions of Norath takes place in the EverQuest universe?
Yeah, I believe so.
I didn't know that until a couple of years after we played it. And I was like, wow, this doesn't change anything because I don't know anything about EverQuest either.
Yeah. Yeah, Champions of Norath, Realms of EverQuest was the very first one, which I actually started on Return to Arms like a dweeb. I actually want to play them, but I don't have a PlayStation 2 memory card. I can't find my original one. So I'm going to buy a new one.
Dang, gonna have to cough up a whole $5 or however much those cost nowadays.
Yeah. It's difficult to play old games. My roommate and I were playing Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance and Dark Alliance 2, and it's just, like, so blurry on new televisions that it's very difficult to make anything out. I don't know if that's just because the televisions are new and that's just the way they work, or if I got an old TV and it'd be a lot easier to see.
Yeah. Whenever you said old games are hard to play nowadays, I was thinking of an experience that I had with Halo.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so let's look back around to Halo. It was on the Xbox One, and it's like one of the maybe 10 games I have on Xbox One, and it has all the Halos, or not all of them, but like
The Master Chief Collection, or
yeah, I think it might be that one. I'm gonna sound so dumb because I don't know it. It's only like 10 of those games. So it has that on there, and it lets you, play Halo 1. And then there's like an option to like turn off the remastered graphics.
Y yeah, it's like a button, you could press it during the mission, and it just straight up changes it. I almost like the old graphics better just because it's so familiar to me.
Yeah, the point that I was actually gonna make getting to this, I had forgotten about the graphics thing until we got here, but the controls, you play a first person shooter now, and it's been so fine-tuned to work a certain way. Whenever you go back and play an old first person shooter from the Xbox, it's like, wow, this is really clunky and difficult, and it makes the game 10 times harder because we're so spoiled now with the way we play our first person shooters.
Yeah, there's so much going on in first person shooters now, I fear that I'm gonna get too old and I'm not gonna be able to do it efficiently anymore.
Yeah, I mean, have you played like an online first person shooting game against anybody like in multiplayer lately?
I honestly have not. My friend wants me to play Warzone with him, but I fear that I'm gonna suck because I used to be really good.
Yeah, so I mean, the younger gamers or they just adapt to it quicker, so they're just automatically better than you. It's why whenever you get killed by a 12-year-old, you're like, man, but he's already like more skilled than you are. You're
Yeah,
30 years old, been playing for 25 years or whatever.
but that was us. That was us 15 years ago. We were the ones destroying people on Halo and Call of Duty and Medal of Honor, and now it's our turn to get wrecked by the younger generation.
Exactly. And it's going to be really interesting to see what kids are going to be able to play another 20 years from now. So I was watching this kid on his PC and he was playing a game that was like supposed to train his hand-eye coordination for first-person shooters and he had to input the buttons as they popped up and move his mouse to designated areas and I can't remember what the game was called, but he was lightning fast at this and I remember seeing it and thinking, wow, there is no way. It was unbelievable what he was doing to me because I'm so old now and slow. He was moving it perfectly and getting like high scores. It's almost like watching somebody play DDR.
Oh yeah, yeah. That stuff is scary.
Oh yeah, DDR is terrifying. If you get under those feet, you're dead.
Yeah, yeah. Like one misstep and you die.
I don't have any jokes for DDR really.
I miss DDR. That's a game I want more of. Now we have this Just Dance and stuff, but give me more DDR. I'm not good at DDR, but I guess I'll take Audio Shield. That's good enough, I suppose.
I remember going to the arcade and seeing people play DDR, and the pros would always lean back on that little bar and they would their feet everywhere. And I remember trying it and not being very good at it. And my sister really liked it. And we actually bought DDR for the PS2, and it came with like two mats that you would plug in and put on the ground. And
Yeah. I was terrible at it. I'm not good at it even in the best conditions. The biggest problem I had going out and playing it at like a theater was my shoes. My feet and the shoes are so large that they were larger than the square of the arrow. So it would hit my shoe would hit either side of the metallic tiles in between the arrows. So there would be no pressure put on the arrow pad. So I'd miss and fail all the time.
wow. Yeah. So for our listeners who don't know, Dean is 11 and a half feet tall. That's why his voice is so deep.
Yeah. Oh man, that'd be crazy height. I'm actually not. I wish I was taller.
Of course you do.
Like I'm at the tallest height before it becomes absurd, I guess.
Yeah, 11 feet tall is very tall, Dean.
I'm 6'3", but like 6'4", where it's like, okay, dude, you could stop now.
You can stop growing.
Exactly.
So to kind of like round off the main topic here of like kind of being picked on or whatever. So DDR, like those dudes at the arcades look real goofy up there, but it's like, man, I can't do that. So he's really knocking it out of the park. I don't know how anybody feels about that.
That's an interesting observation because I don't know. DDR was you look really silly playing DDR. Anyone, whether they're good or bad, looks absolutely ridiculous playing DDR. But man, when you're skilled at it, it's also impressive at the same time.
Exactly. And I mean, traditionally, you'd be at an arcade, so you gotta get up. I mean, not like you're putting on a show, but you're getting up in front of everybody else in the arcade and, like, I mean, when you start stomping on that thing, everybody's gonna turn around and look. So you gotta be cool with that whole aspect.
That's true. And then you're sweating from playing.
So another thing, whenever I was talking about that kid that was playing that accuracy training game on PC, I was actually watching Overwatch League. I was watching interviews with one of the teams and it showed him playing that and that's how they kind of like train up and like warm up and stuff.
Really?
Yeah, and it's like an actual game. It's not just like a training simulator thing. It's like an actual game that you can play and like you get a high score and stuff. But I was thinking, man, that would be really nerdy to sit there and play another game to train you for this game. But if this dude wins this tournament, he's going to be making so much money that it's like suddenly not nerdy. It's like he's training for a job.
Yeah. It's kinda weird. It's like your parents are like, "You'll video games will get you nowhere," and now people are making more than professional sports stars. Let's rein it in here. Get back to the original question. Hopefully, we didn't leave any loose ends on, our other tangents. If not, our listeners can yell at us, and then we'll finish it in a later podcast. So the original question was basically bullying on what people played, and we're all about playing whatever you want, however you want it. But many years ago, we may have not been like that. Have you ever in the past judged someone on the game they played? Oh, Viva Pinata. Wow, what a lame game. I can't believe you played that.
I've always said, just, I mean, whatever you think is fun, play it. But I didn't feel like everybody else was going to be like that to me, which is why I had that WoW story. Felt like everybody's going to be like, oh man, you big old nerd. Now, I mean, we do have the jokes. Playing like a little kid game or something like Hello Kitty Adventure Island. That was always the butt of a lot of the jokes.
Yeah.
Not that might even be a fun game. I've never played it, but there are games that are designed for small children. As far as substance goes, I guess they don't have a whole lot. It's just meant to occupy the mind of a ADHD 3-year-old. So like it's not going to have a whole lot to it. So it might be fun for a little bit, but
Now that I think about it, like I played games like that and I found them enjoyable. Like I played on the Dreamcast, my sister got 101 Dalmatians. And so I played a lot more games than my sister did. So I ended up playing it, I think alongside her or with her or something like that. And I was like, this isn't so bad. It's just a little platformer, you know? I played Barbie on the Genesis. It was a side scroller, but it was really hard and I wanted to beat it.
one of the only Sega consoles that I've ever had, and I'm gonna mention it, and you're probably gonna say, "What is that?" My sister and I had a Pico.
What is that?
Yeah, so it was today's version of like the leapfrog that kids have nowadays.
Oh, wow. Okay, I'm looking at it now.
Yeah, so it came with these little books and you would put them on there and it was like, learning colors and things like that. And it was fun and I know her and I played that for a lot longer than you probably are supposed to as a kid. Like we had it whenever we were a lot younger, around the time, the target age range. And as we got older, we would still boot it up and play it, even though the games were like arbitrary. We still had a lot of fun with it.
That's cool. I've never heard of that system before.
Yep, still got mine.
You still have it?
Affirmative.
If we ever get a chance to hang out, I have to see that console.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's pretty neat. I remember that because you started talking about the 101 Dalmatians, and one of the little books that we had was a 101 Dalmatians book.
Well, look at that. As long as we're having fun.
Yeah, as long as we're having fun. Exactly. I know some people would even say something similar about World of Warcraft. I've heard it said before, even though a lot of people play it. From the outside looking in, you see the graphics, and I mean, this is like almost a 20-year-old game now. It's been going for a long time, and they've only had like one major update to like the way the characters look and everything, like the models. And so it's, even the characters look a little bit cartoony.
Yeah.
The humans, their hands are huge, not proportional, I guess.
Yeah, I never thought about it like that. But I guess when you're on the outside of these things looking in, especially if you're not a gamer, you just think, "Oh, World of Warcraft, that's that stupid fantasy game that all those kids play." But nope.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that like, even if there's just one person that likes it and somebody's getting like some use out of it, like it's not a waste, I guess.
Exactly. which makes me wonder, and this will be for maybe another podcast, but write this down here. I'm gonna have to put it in my notes. Is there's so many games that demand our attention, especially of the same genre. I wonder how people or these games still go if there's a small base. I didn't articulate that very well, but it's like there's so many MMOs. How do gamers split their time to play all these MMOs and still have these massive multiplayer online games keep going even with a small customer base?
Yeah, you gotta stay picky. Stay picky with your games. You don't have that much time.
That's true. You really have to, especially us who we like everything. So we really have to pick and choose.
This is a curse, guys. It's not a gift.
It is.
We're not up here saying, "Hey, we like everything. If you like whatever you like is good, man." We're not all holy over here. We're suffering. We don't get to play all the things that we want.
It's so true. We're we're over here suffering as we look at our Steam libraries of 80 games that we bought that 20% will never get to.
I know that I'm never gonna. You know what? I talk about this in my blog post from Friday. Go read it.
Yeah, go read it. We'll end the podcast now so you can go read the blog post. Thank you for listening to the Grind Game Podcast. For more video game related content, visit legacyarchivist.com. If you have an interesting video game related story, leave it in the comments for a chance for it to be featured on the show.